my name is Liz Wright, and I am a professor of psychology at Northwest Vista College in San Antonio, Texas. And I have been working on a series of videos helping students and faculty members learn how to use generative AI in their classes, both for learning and for teaching. So today we are going to talk about how AI can help us to learn better. AI can be used in helping us to understand things that we're unsure of. We can use it for school and obviously for the work environment as well. When we learn new things, we may have difficulty understanding them. So getting clarification or a different perspective can be helpful. Once we understand something, we want to practice it repetitively. We can ask AI to quiz us and give us feedback when we are incorrect. So after watching this video, these are the things that you should be able to do. You should be able to create more well-defined prompts than you had before you watched this video. And if you haven't learned about prompts and prompt engineering, you want to watch the first 2 videos of this series to learn more about those. You should be able to automate quizzing over content for courses, meaning that as a student, you should be able to use AI to create practice quizzes for yourself. You should be able to create prompts that ask for feedback rather than have AI do something for you. And what skills is this going to help us learn? It's going to help us focus on prompt engineering, critical thinking, because we're going to have to think about the outputs that AI is giving us and make decisions as to whether or not we need to be more specific or if we still have questions. And then also automating tasks such as creating practice questions. AI can be used to generate quiz questions. As a student, this can help you to practice what you're learning without having to create flashcards or questions yourself. This automates the process of creating these questions. AI can do other tasks for us as well, such as create a list of questions to ask a potential employer at a job interview, or create a list of questions to ask an HR representative about a job's benefits. You can also have it act as a hiring manager and ask you interview questions and give you feedback about your answers. So in this video, we're going to learn to use AI to create study questions, but you can ask it to create many things that you, as the human, then can evaluate and decide if they are correct and useful. So let's talk about how to do this. We're going to go to our preferred AI, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever it is. We're going to put in the prompt of what we want it to do. It's going to give us information. And what we're going to do is then decide, okay, how do we want it to be more specific, more different, things like that. So here I am in ChatGPT 5, and I'm going to ask it to do some things for my child psychology class that I'm taking. Here's the list of the Unit 3 vocabulary, and I'm going to ask it specific things about some of the vocabulary. So I can say things like, I'm learning about research methods in psychology in my social psychology course. I'm having challenges understanding X concept. Can you explain it to me and give me some examples? And here you're asking it to give you more information to help you understand X concept, a concept that you're not understanding. You could also ask it to compare and contrast or tell the difference between 2 different concepts that you're not understanding either. So for example, I'm learning about research methods in psychology in my child psychology class. Can you explain the differences between X and Y to me? So here we're asking it to help you recognize the differences between terms that are similar or that you don't understand the differences between. This one is always fun. A student shared this idea with me, and I totally thought this was genius. I'm learning about research methods in psychology in my child psychology class. Act as X persona and explain Y concept to me. So here you're asking AI to pretend to be someone, Indiana Jones, Taylor Swift, Yoda, and explain the concept that you're having trouble understanding. Not only does this give you more information about the concept, but funny and entertaining things are typically better remembered than boring ones. So choose your characters wisely, you should. So if you want to have some more fun with AI, ask it to quiz you over the vocabulary from your unit. Let's add in some research from cognitive psychology here. When we're learning the definition of things, that's the first level of learning. But many of our instructors want us to not only be able to define terms, they want us to apply them, because how is a term useful if I can't recognize where it applies? So when we're learning, we want to start by making sure that we know the definitions of terms. We want to know them back, forward, inside, and out. Once we can do that, then we want to move on to application type questions. AI can help us do these things. You can also work on your prompt engineering as well. So if I only went in and asked it for quiz questions about insert class name here, it might give me questions about topics we're not studying. So I add in vocabulary from the unit for my prompt. So here I'm going to do that. I am taking a child psychology course. We are studying the following terms. Oops. Please create multiple choice questions for me to practice with. And then I'm going to paste in my terms. And it says, here's a full set of multiple choice questions covering the items you listed. Each question has 4 answer choices, and I'll include an answer key at the end so you can quiz yourself. Okay, so these are all going to be definitional. My dogs are fine, by the way, they're just playing. Okay, so these are all going to be definitional. And once we've practiced with these definitional questions, then we want to move on to application type questions. So what I can also do is I can ask it to say, okay, these are definitional. I want application type questions. Okay, so child has brown eyes like both parents, despite the grandparents having blue eyes. This is an example of what? And it's going to give me at least one question per term. Now let's say that I wanted it to randomly ask me questions and give me feedback if I got the questions wrong. So what I wanted to do is create a practice quiz and ask me one question at a time. If I give the wrong answer, give me feedback so I can learn better. Okay, I'll give you one question. Here's your first question. 2 siblings were born at the same time but developed from 2 different eggs, each fertilized by a different sperm. What kind of twins are they? Monozygotic, dizygotic, polygenic, mutated twins. Oh, goodness. Okay, so I'm going to give the incorrect answer here just to see what it says. Not quite. Good try, though. Correct answer is B, dizygotic twins. Here's why. and explains to me what dizygotic means, what monozygotic means, what polygenic means, and that it says, polygenic isn't a real category, mutated isn't a biological term. All right. Next question. And so it's going to keep doing this. One thing that you could do is you could actually create quizzes for each unit. And as you see over here, it saves my chats as long as I'm logged in. So theoretically, you could create one of these practice quiz chats for every single unit. And when you're needing to review for an exam that covers multiple units, you can go back and ask it to give you more questions. And you could ask it to even do, if you're going to be doing some essay or case study type questions on your exam, you can ask it to do those types of things as well. Okay, so we can specify the type of question: multiple choice, true, false, case study, short answer, essay. You could share the exam review page. If your instructor creates an exam review page, you can share that with your AI chatbot and ask it to generate practice questions for you as well. If you want it to interactively quiz you, remind it to do one question at a time and to give you feedback if you get an incorrect answer. So kind of to review what we were just talking about, in terms of prompt engineering, we can make sure we're giving it more information to understand what we're asking it to do. We can use it to recognize differences between terms, for example, random assignment and random selection. And we can also ask it to act as someone to explain a concept to us. So we have done this. We created practice quizzes. And we also said, if we want to, we can share the exam review with AI and ask it to quiz us. And one thing that we haven't talked a lot about yet in this series is the skills that employers are looking for new employees to have with generative AI. And so these skills relate to critical thinking and problem solving, critical thinking and design, technical, including coding, ethics, risk management, communication, math, teamwork and interpersonal skills, management, writing. And as we've seen throughout the video today, but also the past two videos, we've talked a lot about the critical thinking and problem solving, critical thinking and design. We have talked about using it for communication. So how would we write a professional email? How would we change the tone of our writing? And that also relates to teamwork and interpersonal skills. So if we are sending a message or, working with a team member and we're frustrated and we don't obviously want to be typing with frustration, we can ask AI, okay, this is what I want to say, but I'm really frustrated with this person. How would the whole series of videos called How Would I Professionally Say, right? So there's lots of things that relate to what employers are looking for in terms of AI skills that we are doing with these activities. So you want to think, just some questions to think about as you're looking through this. So who did you use the act as specifier as? Did it help you understand a concept? When might you use this in the business world? What types of questions did you have it ask you about the concepts you're studying? Were the questions easy? Were they challenging? What prompt engineering techniques did you use? How did you instruct it to change your questions? How did you shape AI's responses to your prompts? And what else could you use this type of AI function for? And there's lots of different things that we can use this for in terms of as I mentioned earlier, creating questions that an HR representative might ask us and then us answering them and getting feedback about them. So interview questions, that's just one potential creative use for this type of strategy with AI. So as a quick review, we learned about prompts, prompt management, using the act as. We learned about what AI can do for us in our role. We saw how AI can be used to help us understand something better, as well as help us practice concept knowledge. And we saw how AI can help us save time by creating quizzes or flashcards for us. So I want to thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more videos about using generative AI in the college classroom and how it can help you as a student, be sure to subscribe so that you can see these new presentations. And if you have specific questions, comment with them and I will try to answer them in future videos. Thank you.